Ooh, it feels good right now.
We're trying to get live. We're trying to get live.
They're trying to get there, right?
It's saying we're live. I don't know if we're live.
I'm gonna go get it. Let's see what happens.
No, with this shit.
I'm gonna do a shot of Fireball while we're
go live.
You're the man.
You do that. You fireball it up, man. Do what you got to do.
Why is this
so good?
All right.
Did you use one of those little guys?
I'm fairly.
I love these. My sucks.
Beautiful.
I saw a woman walk out with 2 buckets, and I almost yelled at her like, Sox fan. You know, like we're getting ready for tonight, right?
You're one of us, right?
you're gonna wanna do that, right? So
I had this in case,
just in case.
I had this in case we won. I was gonna pop this. So this is
which one is that? Just a regular?
2017 regular, but 2017.
Okay. Nice,
very nice one. But fuck it, man. I need to drown my sorrows. So let's
I love it. Fire that shit up, baby. Fire it up, man.
Let's fucking do this. I don't have to work at 8. Oh wait, I do. Shit. Okay.
Tonight?
That's why we're going on early. A little early tonight.
Don't forgive me. It's
actually, we're not going on early. The game ended later. We're going on when we usually go on.
God. Oh man, that game was 4.5 hours of terror. But let's talk about what we learned in this playoff.
Right, link is out.
Well, I drink this delicious Bourbon County Stout.
Ooh, I got the Knob Creek smoked maple.
Wow.
I'm gonna
wait for you. Let's cheers this one, baby. You get that opened up. Beeflo, if you start talking about what you learned.
Oh, I thought maybe you wanted me to do another shot of
you don't do
that.
Cheers with that. Yeah.
We'll cheers together. We'll just do a little cheers action.
You guys ready?
Man, that's some stuff, bro. That's some stuff.
What's that proof? Give me the proof.
This is a 90 proof.
Ooh.
Okay, so
the stuff that I've been sucking on today
Hello.
has been 75 proof. So we're getting a little much. All right.
Ramp it up a little bit.
Cheers,
boys.
Cheers, fellas.
2020.
Cheers to a playoff season.
Yep.
Yes. Hell yes.
All right.
That tastes like a bourbon.
So I hope it does.
That tastes just like a whiskey. That's definitely got more. Yeah, I like that. That's what I was expecting.
You feeling it?
The others a little bit. The other ones are still, they're kind of a little bit more of a training wheel whiskey for me. And I'm just jumping in the pool, right? I'm sure there's a night ahead of me where I'm going to throw up a bunch of whiskey. So I'm going to fuck up and I'll get all wrecked on it. But this is good. I like this.
Nice Sock Summer.
I'm gonna stop.
Here's the thing.
Yes.
I'm gonna take a drink. So when we started hanging out, you remember, I was not into a lot of different craft beers, and I especially wasn't into IPAs.
No.
And you led me into those waters. You cared for me as I grew into that IPA loving Chirizi that I am.
Nurtured you, if you will.
I will do the same for you into the bourbon world.
Awesome.
So you come along for the ride. I will show you the way to drink bourbon at 3 p.m. in the afternoon on a given Wednesday.
Listen, I did it today.
So let's get into the game and the games a little bit and talk about what we've learned over these past 3 games, because I think we had a lot of questions going in the playoffs, especially on a short season.
Mm-hmm.
A team we didn't know a lot about, a lot of young guys, a lot of people with uneven performances, and you wanted to wait and to see them in the highest leverage situations that they could be in, and then see how they performed. This is all across coaching staff, everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What did we learn over these past 3 games? And Beef, I'll start with you, since you ruined everyone's fucking day on Twitter today. And Jeff Passan had to come back and murder you again.
Why the fuck? So why would you say that?
You go first. You go first, you piece of shit.
Can we just clear that up first before I get into one of my things that I learned? I went in the tub early to do like the little 2-3 minute hit on the 108 account, and loop Goose in there and give them a little promotion. Hit that, and I've got a 1:30 call at work. So I'm sitting at the computer. It's like 5 minutes till that call is going to happen. I'm just like tootling around, and I see that Eloy's in the lineup, and everyone's celebrating, getting excited or whatever. And I was trying to think, what's the most chaotic shit that could happen that would freak everyone the fuck out? It would be if Eli got hurt in the third inning after getting a hit and had to come out, and then everyone will yell about who they're going to put in for him. So stream of consciousness, and truth be told, I almost typed fourth inning, but I thought, no. The Sox will turn the lineup over. Third inning, he's going to do this, you know? So I tweet that shit out, and he gets the double in the third inning, and someone responds to me almost immediately like, dude, man, you're fucking psychic. And I replied, I said, oh, yeah, except, you know, his wheels look good. He seems to be fine. And then, like, 3 seconds later, I was going to say 3 seconds later, they cut to him, and they're like, uh-oh, they're going out to talk to him. And I'm like, oh, shit. And people start retweeting it, and everyone's like, the gif of the boo this man, where they throw shit, and it's like, we got to cancel beat flow for all this shit. And it goes wild for about 10 to 15 minutes. And then it slows down. And I have my notifications up because it's been going nuts. And I'm just trying to like reply to people here and there. And I see Jeff Passan's tweet come up. Not this guy. And he has the picture of me with my flat ass.
That shit is saved on his computer.
Yes, it's either on his hard drive or his phone. I don't know which. But that motherfucker saved that shit from 6 months ago. He fucking locked that down with the intent to destroy me later and fucking waited for his spot.
So you know what? You know what I've realized based on that and going into this off season? Because we're going to, by the way, if you're watching this and you're a fan of what we do, we are going to fire 3 things back up.
Yes.
We need to get Jeff Passan on 3 things.
We do need to get
because
him. Yeah,
by the way, I've got plenty of music questions for him with the shit that's behind him. So we'll get him on 3 things and we'll do 30 things because there's so many questions.
Why don't we just do a whole podcast?
Between his hate for
pod with him, yeah.
Oh, I'm happy to do that too. Between his hate for beef loaf and his obvious interest in music that we love, despite I feel like Jeff Passan's 30 years younger than us. It might just be
he's
his
not
look.
though.
He's not.
Like our age.
Probably like 5.
Age, yeah.
But
yeah, I was gonna say I think he's about.
He owns a suit. He's our age.
He looks fantastic for being our age. Or we look terrible. I don't know.
He doesn't drink.
But nevertheless,
listen, if we had to all be on TV that much,
he doesn't drink. He
Yeah, how
can't.
do you know?
Listen,
Wait. There's no way
okay,
he's
hold
listening
on.
to Jimi Hendrix and Rage Against the Machine, and he's a teetotaler. Come on, get out of here.
I'm just saying. He's on TV. If we were on TV constantly, we might second guess eating that 7th donut. You know what I mean? Like if we knew we had to be,
we get almost naked every Sunday.
If you guys aren't gonna play ball, then I'm just gonna fucking go home. Okay.
My sex summer. Every time someone is like, "Oh, you know, Beeflo, if you're a little bit of an introvert," I said, "Me and my friends
said that?
Almost completely naked in a hot tub every other fucking Sunday for everyone's entertainment." I think I have a little extrovert in the introvert world going on here. I'm not embarrassed by shit. So I looked it up. Jeffrey Scott Passan, born September 21st, 1980. He's basically the same age as
Chorizo.
He's that guy.
He looks much better.
He's like 22 days younger than me. He looks 45 years younger.
He looks good. I mean, better than Beeflo's ass.
Beeflo, if you think he murdered you, he just murdered me.
Without even knowing it. He didn't even know how bad he murdered you with that right there.
Oh my God.
So this is what I want to know. And this will be something that we can ask Jeff when we have him on, if he will come on and grace us with his presence. How did he know you tweeted that? Like, does he follow you?
No, he doesn't. But
like 500,000 followers, and I just am wondering.
Here's what happens, my sex summer. That game right there was kind of on an island because the Cubs and Marlins got postponed because of weather. So it's the only game everyone's paying attention to. So if the original tweet is getting a lot of retweets and interactions, and he sees other people liking it, or like, because like he probably is aware enough where he probably is aware of like Red Sox and the Sox Machine guys and some of those guys. And like Dan Zaborski follows me. I have no idea if he liked it or not. Like, who knows who the fuck liked it? And it could have popped up in his feed from a like. And then he's like, oh, this asshole again. Let me go get him. I remember this shit.
I still love it that he just even saw your name and was like, this is the guy with no ass. I'm going to throw this at him.
He's like, I remember that reverse camel toe motherfucker. That beef loaf, that motherfucker on the south side.
I have the picture saved.
That guy.
I have saved the picture. Like, there's a lot of elements to this that makes me think he would be willing to come on 3 things. Not only for that, but to tell me how old I look because we're 22 days apart.
He got to that picture much quicker than Chuck Garfien got to the picture of him in the 108.
That's
Jeff
the difference between a local guy and a national writer.
Yeah,
that's the difference. Different levels, baby.
Clearly. Sorry, Chuck.
Shit. Sorry, Chuck. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Chuck. You're never going to watch this, so no matter. So whatever.
We have digressed.
I told you I'm going to go off the rails. I've been drinking too much whiskey. Okay?
Baby, I love it.
I'm fucked up.
I love what you did. I'm proud of you. I'm feeling what you did. Beeflo, tell me what you learned.
Oh.
First thing I learned, I figured we'll go round table style, so we'll switch off here. The first thing I learned, an important thing to learn, is that Tim Anderson is a guy who we think is a big game player, and he fucking rung the bell. And he had 3 hits in every single game, and no matter what the pressure was, he came in there and fucking delivered, and he showed that we thought in the 60-game trek he was an MVP candidate, and he showed that he raised his level of play, and he was terrific in the playoffs. And it kind of reminded me of like Tim Raines's 1993 ALCS, where he just fucking hit the shit out of the ball. Tim did that today. So what I learned about Tim Anderson was that all the shit he's done the last year and a half is real.
That's great. That's good. It's true. He did what he could do. It's an individual sport. It's a team game, but it's an individual sport when you're up at that plate, and he did everything he could do to make this team win. So, yeah.
So go ahead, my sucks.
No, you go ahead. I was going to move on.
Beautiful. Give me something beautiful here.
I was just going to say, I was going to pick something that I have learned, or that I learned for this season, is that you can't count this team out like you can all the other White Sox teams that we've had previously. And I saw this fucking loser ass mentality come around in the 5th, 6th inning, where everyone was just like, this is fucking over. It's fucking over. And yes, okay, we lost, but you know how many times we loaded the fucking bases after the 5th inning? Like 2 fucking times. Like we just didn't have the click today. It did not work today. It didn't happen, but they were in a position to make it happen. So that is much different than it has been in the years past. Plus, we haven't been in the fucking playoffs in the years past. We went to a game 3 in a 3-game series. We pushed it to the hilt, and it just didn't go our way today. Did not go our way. But we fucking were in a position to win that game several times after, I would say, 50% of our Twitter fan base said, fuck this game, we lost. So.
That's true.
What about you, Teresi? What have you learned?
Well, let me tell you something I noticed today. And you know me, I like the 80s films with the heroes that you're not expecting.
Yep.
You know, and I'm thinking to Back to School. And we were recently shitting on their casting, you know. But nevertheless,
sure
the son in the
Jason
movie,
Mellon.
not a great actor, but when it became the most important time of that movie and that diving meet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chaz fucking fakes the cramp. Oh, I'm hurt. I can't do this.
Must be menstrual.
Much like a bunch of guys in that bullpen who we've been counting on all year, and Crochet is not in this. He got actually hurt.
He got hurt.
Yeah,
that's
not his fault.
He was looking good until then.
He was cruising.
Bunch of these dudes shit their pants on the big stage, and Jimmy Cordero comes out. This motherfucker, he has taken so much shit, and he has pitched so many more games and innings than everybody else. And he comes out and he does the work. He does what he was put in to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
He does exactly what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, he did.
And that is Jason Mellon getting up there and doing that nice dive when Chaz is too much of a pussy to do it. And you know what?
Sure.
I don't care if Jimmy Cordero, he's never going to be in the back of your bullpen. But you know what? Jimmy Cordero should be on your team. He's proven it this year that he will give every bit of himself. He will let his arm fall off, his gigantic python of an arm.
Huge arm.
Let fall off of his body.
The Popeye arm.
Team. You got to reward that. You just have to.
Go upstairs.
I totally agree.
I didn't enjoy watching a lot of his innings this season, but I enjoyed him in the playoffs thoroughly.
I mean, Teresa, you're totally right. And that's one of these things where, you know, teams will have a designated guy that's got to eat it sometimes out of a bullpen. And I think a lot of the stuff we see on Twitter, we see a lot of like crazy overreactions. And I even see our guy, NWI Steve, like tweeting stuff like everyone's going to take this rationally or whatever. But it's just people aren't used to a competitive team. And yes, shit is going to go wrong even when we have a good team. And one guy is going to be designated out of that bullpen to fucking eat it sometimes. And Jimmy Cordero was that guy in this bullpen just because he was dependable enough and he was veteran enough because they're trying to protect the young arms from pitching a lot of days. And he stayed healthy. Like other guys got injured. Aaron Bummer got injured and Evan Marshall got injured. And he was the one guy who was constant. And really, if you're a Sox fan, be pissed off tonight. When you wake up tomorrow, be really grateful for what Jimmy Cordero did for this team all year and then 2 stellar performances in the playoff series.
Yep. So let me throw this out to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to say it? Who's going to say what we're all thinking right now?
I want you to be the one to say it, Treasy. You should say
I'll fucking say it.
You say it eloquently.
Yeah.
Ricky Renteria was tremendous today.
I think so.
And I know a lot of you people are out there going like, oh man, he should have done this. He should never walk that guy. He should have never done. Look, all I've heard all fucking year is that Ricky Renteria needs to put his team in position to win. That's his job. That's what everyone tells me. Every time I say, hey, I think Ricky was doing something interesting here. Maybe we should talk about it. They go, he was not putting his team in a position to win. When Beefloaf said, I understand why he put Rodon in. I said he needs to be putting his team in a position to win. I've said it.
Yes.
Today, he consistently put his team in a position to win. He did everything he could to put that team in a position to win. When he saw people knocking the shit out of Dane Dunning in the first inning, this is the first inning. He doesn't let him get out of the first inning because people are hitting him so hard, even with outs. He looked at that and said, I need to go to Crochet. And every bit of the way, he gave everyone a short leash, and he made sure that he was putting that team in the best position to win, even when he pulled his catcher for a pinch runner, knowing that he's going to give up the DH spot. Every bit of the way, he was doing what needed to be done to make that team win in an elimination game. And that's what you want out of a manager in the playoffs. If they would have won that game, that would have been some Tony La Russa shit. And everyone knows it. And every one of you watching this going, fuck Ricky, he's terrible. You know, if they would have won that game, you would have been, you would have given it all the credit to anybody else. But that would have
100%, 100%.
And you know it. You can't be watching this. You can't be watching that game and think anything else. So that's my long-winded bullshit, but that is how I felt about that. And you know what? I walk away from this game knowing next year, because they're definitely keeping Ricky and just fucking get used to it. We got the manager that we're supposed to have for this team.
And that eloquently, I could not have said it better myself. And that's the thing that I was trying to hammer home, and we were talking about on there. Listen, there was he took Dane Dunning out almost immediately. And I think looking back on that, they're like, maybe they could let him go a little bit longer, but then going forward, that might not have been the best case. But that's one thing that you can look at.
My sex summer's being attacked right now.
Well,
she's going under the computer.
He's got rabid kids chasing after
and that's
him
where
right
that's where the power strip is. And I'm like, don't do that one. But so yeah, no, I think that a lot of the shit that you can look at what he did today and second guess is a 50-50 situation. If it works, it was smart. It was a genius move. It was, if it failed like it did today, he's stupid. That's dumb. Like, he used what he had and he still put us in positions to win. Like, and that is the biggest thing. We have no third starter. Okay. And he figured out and cobbled away to make this work, even with setbacks while this is working. Like what you just said, Crochet, like going down, getting hurt. I mean, when I saw Colomé get nailed with that ball at the end of the game, I was like, oh my God, like seriously, how many more things can happen just to go wrong? Eloy getting a double. Awesome. Hurt. got a double. This team is gonna win. You know, like they're still there. Like I don't know. I just it was encouraging, and he's putting these guys in those situations, and they had chances. They could have done it. It could have went either way. That's what baseball is, and it just didn't go our way today. So I mean, you can't blame him for that. I just don't think you can. I think he did a great job today, and I think people that are saying that he didn't watch the game or don't understand it. They don't get it. I just don't think they get it. Like, what would you do? And also, who do you put in? You know, like who do you? I mean, what are you gonna do? Like, and I don't think that you can bring in a whole new manager next year and then all of a sudden it just become, oh, well, now we're gonna win these series because we have a new manager. No, we're not gonna win these series because we have a new manager. Like, who is gonna make our relief pitching throw fucking strikes? Like, I mean, what manager does that? Give me his number so I can pass it on to Brooks, who then can pass it on to Rick Helm, and then who can pass it on to Jerry, and we can fucking get this guy there. If we can find that manager, bring that manager in. You know what other manager I want to look into? A guy that makes guys hit balls when they're supposed to fucking hit a ball. I want to know that guy. I want to find me that manager. Let me get that number to him. Another one, I want a guy that's going to show these guys not get them to lay off fucking pitches when they shouldn't be swinging. That's another manager I want. Where is that manager? You guys send it my way.
MySockSummer
at mysocksummer.com, motherfucker. I mean, whatever.
MySockSummer, just to dovetail on what you said there.
Yeah.
Let me give some segment of the fan base a little reprieve on this, okay? Because if you're just a White Sox fan and you've just been focusing on the White Sox, you haven't seen any playoffs really in all these years because they haven't been in them. And some of the older school fans, I noticed they weren't complaining as much. It was more the side of the newer school, the newer fans or whatever complaining about it. But that's how an elimination game in a playoff gets managed. Like, if you keep watching these playoffs, you're going to see that. You're going to see a starter get pulled real quick. Just look on the other side. I mean, I know people weren't paying that close of attention to Bob Melvin. He took out Mike Fiers an inning and 2/3. He had only given up a solo home run, right? But he was getting hit around. He was getting hit out of him, and they couldn't risk that any longer. So if you're a newer fan, this is how these types of games get managed. You start taking these high leverage spots seriously and bringing in Crochet, and that spot was the right thing to do, and they got out of the inning without giving up a run. There's probably one nit in that game that you could talk about. And when we were in our group 108 group chat, Mr. Hand brought up immediately. He didn't like giving the intentional walk to Chad Pinder when Rodon was in the game. And it was to pull Rodon because that was Rodon's third hitter. Rodon had struggled with this first hitter he faced, walking him quickly. I think it was on 4 pitches. And then he worked the full count with Marcus Semien, and Marcus Semien smashed him. Now, Chad Pinder, people were pointing out Chad Pinder, oh, he's a bench player or whatever. But Chad Pinder, even though he struggled this year, over his career, his job is to be in there to hit left-handed pitching. Right. Like, that's what he does. That's his specialty.
That's why he came in the game too. Let's not forget.
That's why he's in there. That's why they have a Chad Pinder on the roster, is to hit lefties. So Ricky has a choice. He has a lefty who's struggling, who just can't get it together, and that's fine. Shit happens. What are you going to do? He can either choose the base, bring in Matt Foster, who's been great all year. And all of you loved Matt Foster when he was opening games and stuff. It's like, why? There were tons of people saying you should have opened this game for 2 innings. The guy just didn't have it. I mean, the Sox bullpen walked 9 guys. Every decision will look bad when the bullpen walks 9 people. So I actually agree with Teresi, and not just because I'm a Ricky stan. I thought he did mostly everything I would have wanted him to do. He was aggressive the whole game.
Well, you bring up Pinder, and Pinder's a great moment in that game because we were all watching this, right? And we saw what Aaron Bummer looked like, and he was in the 20s on pitches, and we're like, this is probably the end of the day for him.
Yeah.
They're going to give him Lamb because Lamb's lefty, and it's a good matchup.
Yeah.
And then they pinch hit for Lamb. They take Jake Lamb out of the game. A great hitter. I love Jake Lamb. A couple years ago, you remember I was going,
I used to love Jake Lamb.
When I was thinking Moncada was playing second base, I was like, Jake Lamb, give me a third base. Yep. Now he hasn't been tremendous since then, but nevertheless, Lamb's a good left-handed hitter. You don't want that guy out there. They pull him for Pinder, who is a left-handed killer. And Ricky just looks at that and goes like, well, this is perfect opportunity to take my guy out that I was going to take out anyway and put in a right-hander. And at that moment, he outmanaged Bob Melvin. He just did. That's just what happened. And then when you got a lefty who's does not have control, and the worst thing he could do is not have control in the strike zone against Chad Pinder, that would have been a fucking huge disaster. You go, okay, I'm just gonna put that guy on. That'll be his third hitter, and then I'll pull him out. That I thought was good managing. I thought, like, I get why people don't like it. I get why you don't want to put someone on base. I don't like it usually, but in this, it's a very specific case here, and I thought he did that well.
Yeah, they didn't throw intentional walks during the year, and like my Sox Summer said, if it worked, you would have thought it was great, or you would have said shit. I mean, I think a big chunk of the fan base just wants to have someone to blame, and the easiest person to blame is kind of the manager. He's set up to be there for you to blame. Like, so that's fine. Do it if you got to do it, but like thinking through it, it seemed like a pretty well managed.
So
Absolutely.
Things that are trending right now on Twitter, Han, Mancada, Renneria, and Ozzy. I cannot wait for the inevitable thread that somebody's going to throw up and they'll be like, who do you want to manage the team next year? Like our guy Burley Cat King Nam did not too long ago. And 50% of the answers are Omar Vizquel. I cannot wait for that thread to reemerge and come back out. Or people that are like, hey, we really got to give AJ Brzezinski a shot. What has AJ done to get us to the, like, what's he going to do in that situation? Are you going to hate him less when he makes the same decisions or worse because you know him and you're like, oh, well, you know, he ran out that foul ball that one time and now I love that guy, you know? So yeah, no.
You know what's funny is we've been talking about the AJ thing recently because, you know, he's on and people have been talking about him being manager. I was just going through because, you know, you guys know this. The people watching this probably don't. All the shit that says from the 108 archives every morning.
Yep.
I put all those up and they're scheduled. So like I put up the month from previous years in this current month. That's how I do it. And I had a post from like 2 or 3 years ago where it was talking about how wanting AJ to manage is fucking ridiculous. Guess what? It still is.
Still is. Yeah.
All right. So if you've been watching the other post-game shows, I'm sure I'm not watching them, but I'm sure they're doing this. I'm sure it's all a lot of nitpicking and a lot of negativity and a lot of all the things that you don't really need right now. Yeah. Right now, you don't need to wallow in the sorrow of this game. You need to enjoy what we just saw, and you need to enjoy what we're going to see in the future. You need to be Mikey from Swingers, and you need Rob to come to your house and tell you how good things actually are in your life and that you are just focusing on the negative because today was a bad day. You don't like to lose a game like today. We had many chances to win, and I wish we would have. And I wish we would have went to the next round, and I would have loved to have seen how we figure out starters 3, 4, and 5 throughout the rest of the
Me too.
But we did not, and we lost. And everyone else could be negative, and we'll nitpick and we'll look at what we need to do in the offseason over the next few months. That shit will happen. Don't worry. We'll get into it. We'll get into those nitty-gritty details, and we'll do all that shit. But today, you don't need that. Let's have some positivity in this. Let's talk about what we're encouraged about for the next year based on what we've seen in this 63 games that we actually got this year. So I'm going to start this because there's something that I'm still in disbelief about as we walk into this offseason. Probably the most difficult thing for a team to find is an ace of the staff. You rarely see this. Like, there's plenty of teams that go into a year competitively and don't have an actual ace.
That's correct. Yep.
We have
because the technical ace is like top 15 pitcher in the league.
Yeah. We have 2 guys that could literally qualify for this. Now, we don't have anyone after them. Don't worry about that.
Put that out of your brain in the offseason.
Put that out of your brain for right now. but we have two of those guys. That's incredible. That is, you don't have a lot of teams like that. If you think back in your brain to teams that that had like two guys where you're like, both of these guys could be aces. You think about guys like Johnson and Schilling. Like these are juggernaut teams that you can't believe had these two guys. And we have these guys as the base. This is part of the base. These guys are not going anywhere soon. These are our guys for 2021. So yeah, I mean, you can have your feelings about Rick Hahn, you could have your feelings about Jerry. But we've got that done. That shit that's there. It exists. We're not worried about it. Dallas Keuchel could go lay on a plank for the entire offseason. His back's going to feel great when he comes back to us.
That's absolutely right.
I can't be anything but excited about the fact that we have two aces on this team. That's unbelievable.
Yes.
It's an unbelievable fortune that we have. Beef Loaf, give me one.
I'm going to give you a person who, if we want to rewind the clock back 3+ years, the three of us, we're going to a wedding, a friend's wedding. We're all going to be out there together, a bunch of us.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The news breaks that this man is signed and is going to be a White Sox, and he's the biggest international free agent left, like out of the prospect free agents. And the White Sox Inc., Luis Robert. And it was a celebration at this wedding in 2017 when it happened. And now fast forward to 2020, when we're in contention, when he had big struggles for all the month of September. But guess what? When we wake up tomorrow on October 2nd, Luis Robert's the best defensive center fielder in baseball. He also had a league average hitting season, even after all that big slump. And guess what? When he got to the playoffs, he hit like we know he can fucking hit. Meaning he's gotten through that initial rookie slump, turned the corner, and we're looking at a potential superstar in center field to add on with our other MVP candidates that we already have in-house this year. So for me, waking up tomorrow and thinking Luis Robert's going to be in center field for 7 more years makes me as happy as I could possibly be as a White Sox fan, knowing that that guy is going to buoy this. If anything goes wrong, he's going to buoy this shit and be respectable and hold this the talent and the record up.
His home run went from Oakland to the fucking Google campus. I mean, that's ridiculous. I saw it come off the bat, and I'm pretty sure I was on a call, and I ripped my headphones out of my fucking laptop because I ran over and was just, I jumped over my couch. I was fucking going crazy in my house.
I was charging my phone, so it was like away from me. So I had to get up and walk over to my phone because I just saw him hit it. I just saw it and I was like, oh, that's gone. So I got up and I went over and I was tweeting, and I hear Jessica Mendoza over. I mean, it was so filled with emotion on this home run, and goes, oh wow, that went really far. That's the furthest it's ever been. So I had to rewind it to see it, and I watched it again, and I was like, holy shit, he hit the shit out of that ball. Like, he just killed that. Like, all of the rage and all of the frustration that he built up for almost the entire month of September was taken out on that poor ball. It was just like gone, like just smoked. It was awesome.
My Sox Summer, give me something you're excited about.
So this is probably a weak one. But I'm excited that we have, even if we cannot retain James McCann, we have Yasmani Grandal that can still hit the fucking ball. He is not the best defensive catcher. Like, he just is not looking good. There's been some very questionable things that he's done behind the plate. And like, when it involves catching, like, it just makes me really, really feel weird. But he on the plate, and in the playoffs, in these 3 games, I was confident in him in doing something at the plate. Like, he hit 2 home runs, or did he just hit the one?
Yeah, 2 home runs.
I think he had 2 home runs.
Yeah.
So he had 2 home runs in 3 games. That's what you need from guys like that, right? We needed just one more from Jose Abreu. But anyway, well, if I can, I'm not going to digress in a negative. But no, I like that we have Yaz there. He was looking like, and when he got up with the bases loaded, I'm like, holy shit! Like, he's gonna fucking make Rick Hahn look like a really big genius if he hits a fucking home run here. And then again with Mazzara, was going to make him look like a genius there too. And then he just watched that third strike go in. But anyway, Yasmani Grandal is probably is like a weird but oddly positive thing, knowing that we're going to lose McCann and knowing that he can still hit. Like we at least have a bat that we can count on if we go into the playoffs. So.
Oh, I love it.
I mean, is that bad? Is that bad?
No, I thought
it's
he
terrific.
was. I thought he was
agree.
great,
He was really good.
I mean, he turned on some balls and he hit some relievers that were supposedly unhittable.
Yeah,
and you gotta love that. You gotta love that coming out of that guy. I don't know. At the end of the day, we'll wrap this up now. But at the end of the day, I feel like we have a team where there's a true core to this team.
Yep.
Where there's a lot of players that are good. And there is a playoff team just out of those players. And now it's time to add to it.
Yes.
And in the past, we've had similar things, but we have not had this. In the past, we've got 2 or 3 stars. And now how do we build a team around that?
Mm-hmm.
Now we have a team. Let's build the pieces around it.
Let's get some more stars.
Teresi, I was going to say, you're right. And they do have a little infrastructure around it. One thing we found out in this series too, Adam Engel is a 4th outfielder on a championship team. Okay.
He is.
And we have young rookie relievers that were they struggled today, but they're part of a good bullpen in the future.
Absolutely.
Maybe they're not the closer or whatever. Maybe they are. We don't know. But these guys are all here too. They're in the mix. They're going to be around for a while. So the core is stronger than just the 2016 core where it was the stars and scrubs thing. It's a stronger core than it was back then for sure.
We've got the entire outside of the puzzle. We just need to fill in the bit.
Just fill in the middle, baby. That's all.
All right, guys.
Hey, before we go.
Oh, good.
Let me quote the great Howard Jones and his #1 hit. Things can only get better, White Sox fans. Look that up. You guys should look that up. It's a great song.
I'm sure.
You don't know the song?
I know the song.
Oh, it's a great song, man.
I don't want to throw great on it, but that's the song.
Oh, fuck you. You know what? It's going to be funny because Kobe's burner is going to fucking get right up in that group chat and be like, Howard Jones sucks balls.
No, he's going to tell you. He's going to tell you how great he is, and he's going to be.
I hope he
surprised
does.
that you've heard of him
won't.
because no one's ever heard of him. But it's no faces though. All right. Look,
yes,
guys,
been
it
fun.
has been a tremendously fun.
See you in January.
But this is the 108, man. This shit's not over.
No.
We're not waiting until next year. We're going to be right back at you right away. We'll be in the hot tub. We'll be on Twitter. We'll be giving you the shit that you want during the rest of this. So please just keep following. We'll keep putting shit out. Guys, tremendous season. Love both of you.
It was fun.
And I will
Love
talk
you
to
too,
everyone.
bros.
Cheers.